Hi, the rafting trip fundraiser that was supposed to happen on July 18th through 20th didn't happen the way that it should have. So it will be postponed until August 15th through 17th. In the meantime, you might like to hear the poem that I wrote about the trip that didn't happen like it should. What a weekend lay ahead. What a weekend lay ahead for us Intrepid 7. There'd be thrills, there would be food. Did someone there say heaven? Camping near the Lehigh, we'd get in the water near 8. A dam release so rapids would be on our plate. 21 fine miles in a kayak and a raft. The bus was fixed. What could go wrong? Did someone say God laughed? As we approached the water gap on our way that Friday night, the car sped on ahead of us. Then something wasn't right. The gauge that watched the temperature, which had been doing great, somehow started spiking, and it hit 278. Underneath the toll booth, when we slowed down so the eye could look and see my easy pass, the whole darn bus just died. And steam came from the engine, and it said, I will not go. So a truck it came and pushed us to the side real nice and slow. I opened the hood when it cooled down a bit, but it was pretty hairy. I turned, then backed, then turned and backed, 'cause it was pretty scary. That cap was pretty scary, 'cause it could scald you, honey. But it had cooled, so nothing happened, and I looked pretty funny. Then we put a bunch of water in, and the thing cooled down. The engine roared, the engine purred, and we were off to town. But that was not a good thing. We were going to the woods. But the heater gauge, it told us that that would not be good. We got off at Main Street because it sounded kind of Maine. If it was just any street, it might have been a pain to find someone to help us. And the bus, it made the lot of a gas and convenience store when the bus again said, not. But no one fixes buses at 10:30 in the night, though across the street mechanics worked in the morning light. And across the street there it beckoned, we've rest for your feet and your shins. We're here for all folks who are stranded, 'cause our name is the Quality Inn. But to provide such a place, it costs money, so we'll take that money from you. Still, we will give you a discount because you are in such a stew. The mechanic, he had no such discount. But by 9:45 in the day, my brother, he said, you are ready to get in and be gone on your way. So we could only do half of the river, or we thought we could do it. We laughed, 'cause we had a good bus and a kayak and a spanking brand new river raft. But when we pulled the raft from the school bus, something had been there, forlorn, and it made a nest in that new raft from holes it had chewed and had torn. I didn't cuss, I didn't cry, but I was awful mad. Others, they called me a good man. So why had things turned out so bad? We sent the teams on down the river. They both were athletic and strong. My prayer is that you will prosper and that you will live very long. We set up the tents and a bunch of camp chairs. Then we went swimming, and then I declared, let's pick up the teens because they should be there at Jim Thorpe with the kayak. But the bus, it ran well, and it was awful swell where the boats would get out of the river. There were rapids to run, and the cold water was fun, but not cold so as you would shiver. Then there was climbing, there was jumping. I won't say more than that. But that place they call Okomo, it was pretty fat. We stopped and grabbed wood from the woods that were there as we drove into the park, and we got back to our campsite an hour or so, for the weather decided to dark. But thieves, they had stolen a table. Not the broken one, mind you, my friend. But aside from that little annoyance, the problems were not great to fend. The food was great, and we told stories and such, and we ended up laughing a lot, hopefully them from the stories and such, and not the next campsite's thick pot. The next day we ate and did church in the woods, a talk that I'd foolishly planned. It answered why bad things they happen to you if you are a good man. We picked up and went to the river playground and had all the fun we had before we had found, and met some cool kids who lived near that rad town, at least when they worked there that summer. Then after taking pictures and hearing my raft could be fixed, the trip it would end on a high note, though the thing it was clear had been mixed. And we would eat at that place Cracker Barrel. We got there just as the gauge spiked, as the bus made a sound through the engine that only a mother could like. But it would cool down, and then we would get home. No, I guess that wouldn't be, 'cause after we ate that food that was great, the miles we made were not 3. The gauge again spiked, and I had to tell Mike to call his dear mom on the phone. She could pick up the crowd who had worried out loud if they would ever get home. And I called AAA, but the phone went away with the people that left with Mike's mom. And they promised to come, and they said it was dumb, but I was covered. They'd pick up the bomb. But they broke their promise, and they even lied. They said I wasn't covered, and I had replied that I would go and pay for the tow up to $240 in cash. It was $170, and now I'm forced to dash a letter to them with a piece of my mind, though some say it's dangerous, and I might find there won't be much left there to think. But anyway, that's how it happened, so there's still time to pledge for each of the 21 miles that I will go down the Lehigh River on that date in August. And you're welcome to come, by the way. August 15th through 17th, we will camp and again try to raft down the Lehigh River, but this time the raft will be in much better shape. And that's about it. So thanks for listening.